Thank you for visiting the YouTube channel for bestbiblecommentaries.com. In this video, I'd like to do two things. I'd like to discuss the New International Biblical Commentary series and the Understanding the Bible Commentary series. More about that in a moment. And I would also like to review the 1st and 2nd Kings volume in that series. Before I do, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to this channel so you can see videos on Bible commentaries, study Bibles, and theology books. Also, I'd appreciate it if you give the videos a thumbs up button because that hit the thumbs up button because that really helps my efforts on YouTube. Ian Provan is the author of 1st and 2nd Kings and the NIBC commentary series. This volume was published in 1995. It is 305 pages in length. Ian Provan is a British Old Testament scholar who's been teaching at Regent College in Vancouver, British Columbia since 1997. He has written some other well-reviewed commentaries, including the Ecclesiastes and Song of Solomon volume in the NIV Application Commentary series. Dr. Provan is ordained in the Church of Scotland, which is Presbyterian, and so it subscribes to Reformed theology. However, I'll make this point because I want to start talking about this series as well before I share some reviews. As far as this series goes, this series has experienced 3 different iterations. First, it was the Good News Commentary series, but when the Good News English translation kind of faded away, really the NIV kind of started to dominate during that time period, late 70s, early 80s, I think it was. The Good News English translation didn't get a lot of traction, or whatever traction it did have kind of faded. And so the Good News Commentary series morphed into this, the New International Biblical Commentary series that uses the NIV text, and Hendrickson is the publisher for this particular series. So this is actually the 2nd iteration of this commentary series. It's now on the 3rd iteration. Baker has picked it up now. It's no longer with Hendrickson, and it's called the Understanding the Bible Commentary series. So you will find 1st and 2nd Kings in the NIBC series, and you will find 1st and 2nd Kings by Provan. You will find it in this NIBC series. You will also find it in the Understanding the Bible Commentary series. It's the same content. It's the same English translation. Where you're going to get some difference is if you go as far back as the Good News Commentary series. Now, there are some commentaries in the series that have survived all 3 iterations, interestingly enough. So this one, Matthew by Robert Mounce, you can find it in the Good News series, you can find it in the NIBC series, you can find it in the Understanding the Bible Commentary series. It's all the same content. So I also want to mention that I have the NIBC series and the Understanding the Bible Commentary series on my list of top 50 Bible commentaries. I'm going to put a link to that page on my website down below if you want to check it out. But the reason why I list those two, the NIBC and the Understanding the Bible Commentary series separately, is because what I find is that people search for them separately. I think a lot of people don't realize that the Understanding the Bible Commentary series is this series. It's just the current iteration of it. It's not even a revised or update. It's just rebranded. Is the word that the publishing industry sometimes uses. So if you find a copy of the Provan, I think he published this volume under the NIBC label, and so there's no Good News version of it, but there is an Understanding the Bible Commentary series version of it, so you could just find whatever volume's cheapest and use that because it's the same content. Some of the best reviewed commentaries in this series are this one. This is going to be at the very top of the list for a lot of people. But there's some other ones as well. Deuteronomy volume by Christopher Wright is highly praised. The Psalms commentary that I don't have here with me on the table, but there are I would say 5 or 6 very well reviewed commentaries in this series. And again, they're the same in the Understanding the Bible commentary series. I do consider this one of the top 10 commentaries on the books of 1st and 2nd Kings. I'll put a link to that entire list down below too if you're interested in reading more about that. I'm wondering, have you used this series? Have you used the NIBC series? Have you used the Understanding the Bible commentary series, or even the Good News Commentary series. There might still be some of those volumes floating around somewhere. So if you've used those, let me know what you think about them in the comment section below. Whether it's this particular volume or you use a different one, let me know what you think about it below. As far as the theology goes, it really depends on the particular volume. As I said, Provan is Presbyterian, so he has Reformed convictions. Those Presbyterian distinctives aren't real strong in this particular volume. And it's been well reviewed by all sorts of. It's just, if you're interested in a conservative evangelical approach to First and Second Kings, that's why this volume gets excellent reviews. But as I look at the Genesis volume here by John Hartley, I'm reminded that he is Arminian, and another one that comes to mind that I don't have here on the table, the Romans volume by Edwards. Edwards is Arminian, so. But again, Provan is Reformed, and so it really depends on the author and the volume what the theological conviction is. Also, as far as approach to the text goes, I'm reminded by looking at this volume that I would call this moderately critical. This Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther volume by Leslie Allen, I would call this moderately critical. As far as approach to the text, though, however, with Provan, I would say it's he takes a conservative approach, which means his starting point is the text. It's not a different presupposition. It's not what I might call a critical presupposition. He starts with the text. That's his launching point, and his goal with the commentary is to explain the text. So with that, let me get into a few reviews. Tremper Longman, and I think he's an Old Testament scholar, evangelical Old Testament scholar, and he also he pays a lot of attention to the commentary world and has written books on Bible commentary. So I think I wanted to mention that he says that this is the best available commentary on First and Second Kings. So, and just because of the work he's done on Bible commentaries, I think that's noteworthy. So he says this is the best available on First and Second Kings. A couple other reviews. Academic Journal Review and Expositor, the reviewer says that he highlights that he likes that Provan takes a canonical approach to Scripture, meaning he wants to read and understand First and Second Kings in light of the rest of the Old Testament. He doesn't want to separate it from the rest of the Old Testament. He wants to understand it in light of the Old Testament and also of the New Testament. That's what he means by canonical or a canon-wide approach to the books of First and Second Kings. The reviewer likes that Provan does not separate text and history, which many scholars do. That's a quote. He does not separate the text and history, which many scholars do. I would kind of add in there a bracket parentheses, which many critical scholars do. They separate the text and history. What Provan's conviction is that when you're reading the text, you are reading history. The reviewer concludes that it is a worthy read for the scholar, student, or layperson. I should mention, because I didn't before, that I would consider this a mid-level commentary series. Let me just show you an example before I get to the second review. I would consider it mid-level. If there's a spectrum on mid-level, meaning some mid-level commentaries are a little closer to introductory, some mid-level commentaries are a little closer to the technical, this would be a little bit closer to the introductory. This is a common layout where for the 1 Kings 4, verses 1 through 20, there's a 2-paragraph introduction, followed by what I would call a passage-by-passage commentary. You can see that, hopefully you can see that some of the words are in bold, so those are from the NIV text. So the text isn't separated in this commentary. You don't read the section of text and then the commentary. The text or portions of it are found within the body of the commentary. So it's not a verse-by-verse commentary. It's not a word-by-word commentary. It just doesn't have that level of depth. It's more of a passage-by-passage commentary. Target audience would be Sunday school teachers, Bible study leaders. I think pastors would also be the target audience, but for a lot of pastors, I think that they might want to, if they use this, they might want to use something more in-depth as well. So these 20 verses are covered in about 5 pages, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of the depth that it goes into. The second review that I have for you is from the journal Journal for the Study of Old Testament Literature. This was an interesting review, but I'm going to share it anyway. It's very short. The reviewer called it a sane, S-A-N-E, a sane and careful guide through the books. I do not recall reading a Bible review from an academic journal where someone called the author sane. What I think is happening here, I think that the journals, I'm not real familiar with the Journal for the Study of Old Testament Literature like I am with other journals that I get and read. I think it might be a more critical, moderately critical or critical journal as far as overall approach to the text. So because Provan takes a conservative approach, I think the reviewer is saying it's a sane conservative approach. But anyway, partly I'm sharing that because I thought it was humorous. It's sane. So I suppose that's a thumbs up for the commentary. Well, it's sane. It's a sane book. I guess that's better than the alternative of it being an insane book. Academic journal Themelios says that Provan refreshingly takes the canonical text of 1st and 2nd Kings as his starting point. Now that's a description that conservatives love. He refreshingly takes the canonical approach of 1st and 2nd Kings as his starting point. Provan's method is very attractive, helping the reader to see not only the unity of Kings, but also the Old Testament and even the Bible as a whole. So, I hope this video has been helpful to you, understanding more about this volume and understanding more just about this series and the Understanding the Bible commentary series as well. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe. I appreciate your watching. I really appreciate the people who are taking the time to watch my videos, and it's just a blessing for me to do this. So I hope it's helpful.